Good evening. Eldritch horrors. What are they good for? Well, if you were to answer, a great energy source, an invaluable test subject, and food for the trees in my backyard, then you'd be correct. Welcome back to Rimworld, where today we will be playing with the new Anomaly DLC, where we will attempt to take over the world with the aforementioned horrors that we both trap and worship at the same time. Will we be able to succeed in our task, or will our search for otherworldly knowledge push us too far? Only time will tell, so let us begin. Upon our tumble down to the planet, we must quickly find a safe spot to defend from the creatures that will surely be out for our asses. So I find the first hole in the ground to begin the construction of our laboratory. While we are here, I will introduce you to our Gooner gang. We have Topaz, the scientist, Good Sir, the town defender, and Bren, who does literally everything else. All these fellas are commenters on my last Rimworld video, so if you want to be featured in the next one, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with a challenge idea you want to see me attempt. But back to our colony, we very quickly set up things key to our success, like a storage room, research bench, and a sacrificial altar, just in time as well as a friendly 90-year-old trader with dementia wanders into our colony, and while we could do the cruel thing and fleece him of all his valuables, he instead becomes the first of many sacrifices to our Dark Lord. But before we do anything else, we need to interact with the dark, scary monolith in the middle of the map that will cause a great number of horrors to befall our fellas, only for the first anomaly that we encounter to be a funky looking tree. But before long, we get welcomed to our new home by a shadow man, who we swiftly defeat and leave at the base of the funky trees. And while the corpse is being eaten, let me tell you about a different kind of shadow. Legends. The best mobile RPG on the market is back, and now with more content than ever. Immerse yourself in the world of Raid with its over 800 unique champions from 16 factions, and join over 4 million active users in this never-ending battle. And between now and the 30th of May, the new Spring Hunt event is running, where for the first time in Raid's history, players can win real-world prizes like gaming consoles and Amazon gift cards. All that players need to do is head to springhunt.plarium.com and enter their Raid IDs to join the hunt, and on top of real-life prizes, players can also win in-game prizes like legendary champions and skill tomes. But that's not all, as Raid's 5th anniversary has come and passed, bringing with it its first Community Weeks event, which is a 6-week-long celebration of the Raid community. And to say thanks for its many years of support, players can get their hands on a free legendary champion, Chronicler Adolin, who is a top-tier support, able to debuff enemies and buff your other champions, making her a top pick against the Sand Devil. All players need to do is log in for 7 days between April 11th and July 8th. But there are 14 days of rewards to be had, so hop on to see what goodies await you. But that's still not all, as if you use my link in the description or scan my QR code on the screen, you'll immediately get a huge starter pack including Epic Champion Tyrell and Epic Rector Drath once you reach level 25. Also use the promo code SPRINGHUNT24 to get some more goodies, and be sure to join my clan for good measure. So what are you waiting for? Hop on Raid today on mobile or PC and join me in the fight. The time has come for this little crack shack in the middle of nowhere to become a faction, and what better name suits our purpose than getting that Cthulhu'cy. I'm keeping the name Cauliflower Settlement because that's already a baller name. One of the key things that the Anomaly DLC adds is anomaly research. Research that assists us in the capture and abuse of anomalies. Duh. And the first thing that we choose to research is Void Provocation, which allows our colonists to perform a ritual akin to throwing a stone at a military convoy, for which our wish is swiftly granted as we get sent another Shadow Man, but this time we capture it and use it for our sussy experiments. A wild furry wanders in and proceeds to get into a fistfight with another Shadow Man, and winning, giving us yet another test subject, along with a drop pod crash giving us another sacrifice. All in all, things are going well, the trees are happy, and so am I, until a hole forms in the ground and out pops a flesh beast, who we immediately turn into Lego's brand tomato paste. Now, because I am a savvy businessman, I am hip and cool with the times, and getting that Cthulhu'cy is looking a bit too much of a sausage party at the moment, so we find our first diversity hire in Bubbles. What does she do? I don't know, she's gonna be comatose for the next month. After fighting some zombies, a gore hulk, and more flesh beasts, we're starting to amass a vast cornucopia of crazy creatures, locked inside of my basement, and good timing as well, because a black mist covered the land, causing the dead to come back to life. Ooh. I'm going to just Bethesda rest my way through the rest of this weather, because a whole lot of nothing happened. With our new riches, we make some more equipment to help with the containment of our anomalies, which we will need since we perform another dastardly ritual to upgrade our monolith from level 1 to level 2. Was this a good idea? No. No, it was not. And if you're wondering why I say this, the big pit that appeared in my front yard might give you a hint. To help us with the new threats that we have brought upon ourselves, we decide to take up the assistance of 4 refugees who are willing to do various hard labors without complaint, for which we put them into 5-star accommodation where they can mine and snort crack. Apart from their strange habits, the refugees are very helpful and speed along our development tenfold, but staying on top of our task, we summon yet another creature, but instead we are greeted by a big ball that has no intention of running away in the slightest. I'm sure that this isn't an issue at all. Soon after, the refugees leave us, putting us in a bit of a pickle, considering that a massive flesh growth erupted from the ground that required us to pick through the flesh to unlock how to defeat it, or for us to go and flick a switch, allowing us to remove the flesh mass and claim its nucleus for some devious experimentation. Our next hurdle was when God himself turned off the lights and dropped a bunch of spiky metal all over the map for us to destroy. But because of the lack of light, we needed to panic build the geothermal generator so we don't immediately get swarmed. A man named Bishop also decided that right now, of all times, was the best time to join our colony. Who am I to say no? The only way for us to fight the darkness is to create a new piece of equipment, the disruptor flares, which allow us to cut through and attack the spiky metal, but not before being attacked by another creature that we take away for study. After finding out how to defeat the knight, we immediately snapped back to reality when we hear that the sphere from earlier is melting down, and will soon go sicko mode if we don't release it on our enemies. Oh dear, this is terrible information. So what am I gonna do? Forget about it, and do something else. Another day, another anomaly. This time, Red 40 begins raining over my colony, forcing me to keep all of my colonists inside. And really fitting into the Red 40 bit, the rain decides to make every animal on the map a crazed killer, which does me good when flesh beasts attack from the pit, only to get greeted by the angry zoo that has appeared outside of my house. But after the animals disperse, we stumble across a body, but not just any body, but the dead corpse of Good Sir, which isn't the slightest bit unsettling. We also get a couple of hostiles coming to take our stuff, so I decide now is the best time for the sphere to go at it. The sphere is very proficient in taking out our would-be attackers, until it decides to kill one of my domesticated animals and piss off. What a dick. Our reputation starts to spread around, and we get a new member wanting to join our colony, that being Potts, a 71-year-old, but beggars can't be choosers. Her arrival is marred with the appearance of a twisted obelisk, a structure that will be of great importance to one of our colonists. Apart from the creation and taking of a serum allowing Topaz to see demons, and Good Sir having a mental breakdown about his identical corpse, things seem to be progressing smoothly, until Bubbles messes with the obelisk and gets sent to hell. And of course, while we are one man down, the unnatural corpse that we tried to get rid of gets up to attack us. Through the power of kiting and bullets, we are able to put the corpse down. And Bubbles, after a couple hours of wandering, starving, and bleeding out, is finally able to teleport before breaking down right as she is about to leave. After standing around the campfire and singing our campfire song, we happen to summon the Vor Beast. What does the Vor Beast do? It vores Potts, and we need to riddle it with bullets to save her life, as well as giving us another beast, ripe for study. Around this time, we also get another colonist, named after that fella from Ratatouille, and what a rat he was, as he very quickly exposed himself as a traitor, wanting to take our secrets, who we beat and immediately put into bed. As time passed, we discovered another obelisk that Topaz took great interest in, as when he interacted with it, he gained a new eldritch organ or limb, turning him into an abomination. The final obelisk we discover is this one, which does something very funny. It just straight up duplicates a colonist for the low price of giving this duplicate total organ shutdown. So I do the only sane thing that I can and kidnap a random child that wandered into the area, take out all of their organs, and place them into Bren number 2, fixing him right up. We begin this week being greeted by one of the most annoying anomalies added in this expansion, the the Revenant. All this stupid creature does is walk up to one of my colonists, stare into their eyes for a couple of minutes, then leave them comatose while disappearing into thin air. The only thing we have to track this creature is the gamer goop it leaves behind, after taking out Good Sir and Potts as she's trying to break the geothermal generator. We are able to finally figure out how to beat the beast, and that's by throwing a flare every 3 meters until we find it and hunt it down. With the spine captured, we can reform it in a holding cell, allowing the Revenant to torment our colonists further. Soon after, we have a stunningly good-looking man named Whiff approach the colony wanting to join, but there is something he isn't telling us. We let him join regardless until a piece of fleshy tissue falls on the ground, meaning that someone is a skinwalker. I wonder who it is. So we beat and imprison him, where we see that his faction is listed under dark entities. Until of course, the Skinwalker bursts out of Whiff and we have yet another creature to experiment on. At this point, expecting more horrors is the standard. So imagine my shock when I am greeted by a golden cube. Oh, that's pretty alright. But soon Bren starts to become obsessed with the cube and starts creating sculptures of said cube. Bren's contemplation and artwork time is grossly interrupted by a shuttle falling from the sky, giving us our newest recruit, Grump, who will be very critical for the work ahead. The time has also come to duplicate another member of our team, so I decided to duplicate Topaz to give us another big-brained tentacle abomination. During this time, the dead came back to life, again, forcing us inside. The weather gave us an excuse to develop high-tech research benches and a trade beacon so that we can finally clear out our storage by selling all of our useless items. We were also able to discover a way to disable the golden cube, and doing so made a lot of our colonists go a tad bit insane, and resulted in half of our Gooner gang ending up in the hospital. While everyone was recovering, we discovered a very important technology for our future success, that being bioferrite weaponry. The material that we've been using to contain all of our beasts, we can now make into weapons to use against said creatures. Seeing the massive benefit, we assigned Grump, who at this point was a master craftsman, to the task of arming our entire colony with these weapons. This would take a lot of time, but time was something that we had more than enough of, as we were able to busy ourselves with other antics involving mechanoid clusters and a group of raiders trying to set up in our front yard. Once the goon squad were all sufficiently armed, we fight off a group of flesh beasts with ease. Seeing that the big hole in the ground has been plaguing us for too long, I decided that it was time to delve into the pit. Before too long, a strike team ended up stumbling across a hideous mass, otherwise known as your mother. This is the Dreadmeld, and we decided to perform a tactical retreat for the time being. But as soon as we could, we send in the best fighters we have available to put down the beast and give us back our front yard. The time has come. All has led up to this. After the definitely not scary disclaimer, we activate the monolith to level 4, making it look very spooky and beginning the gauntlet. The gauntlet consists of these pillars spawning on the map, guarded by unskinned skinwalkers, so we get to work. Turns out burning the skinwalkers with flamethrowers is a great tactic, as they try and put themselves out instead of focusing on the 9 dudes, peppering them with bullets. After disabling a pillar, a horde of mini anomalies come and try and make our day a little worse. However, the new guns are so effective against these beasts that they don't even get close. After disabling the first 2, the entire map goes dark again, and we need to do the same thing 3 more times, before the monolith decides to get a little funky. The way is now clear, and because Good Sir was the one to start this whole catastrophe, he will be the one to put an end to it. Upon reaching the sphere, Good Sir has 2 choices: break the cycle and put an end to all this funny business, or become funny himself. Of course, I choose option 2. The game is now considered beaten, and everyone returns back to base to clean up this mess, with one member feeling a little bit different than he did before. Thanks once again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. Be sure to use my link in the description. And thank you for watching. More videos on the way soon.